How's it going, guys? It's Mr. Lo4f, and today I'm going to go and do, it's actually a mission, not a contract. This one's called Water Boom 4, and there's a reason why I picked it. It's partly to do with, like, you got to put some fires out, but the water towers are quite far away, so yeah, I wanted to try this mission and see what the case is. There's 2 water towers that you got to restore that are contracts, but then there's 4 that are just missions. So I'm going to go to the warehouse that's kind of near the garage, grab the supplies I need. I've already fixed that bridge. I've got the footage, but I've not made the video yet. The reason why is just because it makes it easier to travel around the map. With that bridge being out, it's just the other ways are quite snaky and awkward. Yeah, so this is the Water Boom 4 tower, and it's quite near the rail yard and everything. And if you look on like the actual contracts instead, there's a couple in the first one, fire department. You've got the storage one, and there's 3 different warehouses that you've got to put out, but you need 4,400 litres per place, so that's like over 13,000 litres. And then the same with the rail yard, that's like, is it 6,600 or 6,400 or something you need? So that's nearly 13,000. And the only 2 water towers are one near the garage and then one kind of at the top right of the map. So I was hoping, slash assuming, and I'm sort of saying this because I have the benefit of hindsight, that I was going to build this water tower, and then there was actually going to be one nearer to the places where I need to have the water, really. So we'll get into that like when I get there and sort of explain. But long story short, it doesn't give you any water, so yeah, don't get your hopes up on that one. Anyway, like I say, I'll get to that sort of when I'm there. For this mission, I decided to go and take the ANK MK38 out. It was just a good excuse to take it, really. That's what she said. I've got myself a goddamn professional as well. I've only packed him kind of on the roof and bonnet for now, because the supplies I need are pretty close, so my plan originally was to reverse him onto the cargo behind me. Yeah, I've also grabbed a ramped flatbed. Thankfully, I really do prefer it to be this way, is the garage that we've got, like, we've got a trailer store that's right in the yard, so you don't have to keep going halfway across the map just to get the trailer and setup and everything you want. Yeah, so I kind of know, well, the AMK, I'll just call it the ANK, it used to be pretty tippy. It's definitely got better. I think for this one, though, because with the suspension, you've got normal, it might have active, I can't remember, but it's got raised and then custom tuned as well, or whatever it is, which is even taller. I think I just went with the raised in the end because, to be fair, I've never really had much of an issue with this catching. It's quite a short wheelbase truck anyway, so it doesn't really get its fuel tanks caught or anything like that. I've got the big custom muds on it. But yeah, I just thought in the end it's just extra, it's like it's on its tiptoes then, and it's just going to be easier to tip it. I hadn't decided at that point to bang the loaf on the roof. Yeah, so this is the warehouse. Again, as I was looking through the missions tonight, it's sort of trying to work out which ones to do first and everything. But for this one, I need 2 lots of small pipes, which again, they look very similar to the metal beams, so just be careful when you're getting cargo that you don't load the wrong one. And then I also need 2 lots of packaged sand, and there's limited cargo at this warehouse, so I think the sand there was 4 lots, but the pipes is only 2, so now that's got none left. There is another warehouse further north on the map, and I think when you unlock those warehouses with the missions I've just shown you, where you've got to deliver water, I believe, like, I don't know if it's unlimited, I don't think it will be, but it says like we'll have to scavenge the materials from the building, so I assume as we take them it might delete the building, a bit like it did back on Wisconsin and stuff with the wooden frame houses. Yeah, I tried to reverse the loaf, but I tipped off, so instead I went round to the ramped flatbed. And I remember with the loaf, because when you normally drive up the ramp, his bumper just catches the cargo. But if you time it right, it's got a pretty weak engine, the top engine. You can sort of like, he's got that much horsepower that he does a little wheelie when he sets off, so you can kind of like scoot the bumper. Yeah, there we go. And I was able to drive up to that point. I couldn't quite claw my way over to the top, so I just stuck a winch from my loaf to the ANK. I detached the trailer, so I actually had like a winch point, otherwise it doesn't let you have that winch point. But yeah, we got him up there. He can sit along on the trailer for now. Goddamn horse, get yourself a loaf. So yeah, that's me pretty much set up for this one. Now I can sort of set off, and like I say, that's the reason I built that bridge. It's just a main way that's handy to go, because there's kind of a river basically running all the way up the map. And yeah, it sort of cuts off the right hand side that your garage is on from all the rest. Again, there is little river crossings, but none of them are really that direct. I was just showing there, like, I keep changing it to daytime. At the minute, though, it was sunny for me earlier, but at the minute when I'm changing it to midday, it's all really grey and clouded over. I think I was going to try and say grey and clouded. Gley and crowded, I was going to say. I wouldn't even say greyed over like a storm or cloudy weather. I assume it's from the fire. It's like generally all the smoke in the air that's making it a bit dimmer, so yeah, I don't know. Again, I did have sunny weather earlier, so it seems to come and go as and when it feels like it. Yeah, this warehouse that I've just been to, like I said, that's got limited cargo, so with all the contracts and everything, that's what I've, well, earlier in the night I've been messing around with like the mods and everything again, because, yeah, apologies for yesterday's attempt at a live stream. That was kind of like, it's always been my worst nightmare scenario really, is the blue screening going on, because it automatically ends the live stream and I can't stop it from doing that. So once it crashes the game, it brings up the blue screen and then it kind of kicks me out to the PlayStation main menu. And at that point, funnily enough, I noticed like at the end of the live stream, one of the last things you can hear me say is like, "Oh, what a wanker of a game," or something. I didn't realise that. I thought it was funny, but the audio stays connected for probably another 5 seconds longer than the video does. I just drove past the fuel station and I was like, psh, we don't need fuel, we've got a goddamn horse for me. Yeah, so it was a bit of a pain because I started the live stream last night at like 2:30 in the morning for me. I actually went on the game at probably like 10:30 or something, and as an excuse just to play around on the game, just to have the game loaded, just to kind of make sure there's no bugs or anything like that going on. But I didn't want to complete some missions because obviously I want to get that on video and everything. I didn't want to go on to the mod version yet because then I'd already be driving around uncovering the map, etc. And the whole point was to like, the live stream was sort of the start of doing my mod playthrough on Phase 9, these new maps. It's like the worst week it could have chosen to do it really. Yeah, and then about, well, I was on, instead I went around with a loaf and a Taiga and a radar trailer and uncovered all the maps, got all the upgrades, everything else. Just kind of did a bit of admin on the map. Yeah, and it was probably about 20 minutes-ish maybe before the live stream started that I loaded up the mod version, and it loaded me up on like Island Lake or something, so I tried to travel over to Albany River, this new map, and then it blue screened me, and I was like, oh god, but sort of thinking, oh, hopefully it's just got a bit unlucky. Did it again. I think I got blue screen twice, and it takes a little while to load the game back up, get back on it and all that, and then yeah, so I started the live stream and then it basically kept doing the same thing as you sort of saw it happen live really. There's the bridge I built as Bandit and Loaf that I got the job done with them. Yeah, so after like 3 live streams I did in the end, then it just kept cutting them out. I carried on trying to test just to find out what's going on, but it's sort of difficult because, well, I just have to kind of try things, and then when it blue screens me I kind of know that's not good. Just to show you here, I've mentioned it before, like the loaf's packed on the trailer, but when he tips, he dives off. And he dives off before the cargo, and then he does a tuck and roll. So you'd think he's on his roof now, but again, he's a goddamn professional. He's loaf trained. He gets back to his wheels. Yeah, and I've said before, like every now and then when either the truck's tipping or the trailer's tipping, sometimes he bails off at the perfect moment. Well, every time. He's a goddamn horse. And yeah, it's kind of the weight of him detaching kind of helps the trailer tip back. I don't know if it sort of tricks the game, but you can see there the loaf clearly dived off just before, and yeah, cargo was saved, which is good because on the ANK I've got no crane, so if the cargo had tipped I'd either have to ram it back on with the loaf or probably quit and reload method, which I can see the saving cogs are right there, so it would have been it probably would have near enough restarted me back at the garage at that point. So yeah, I'm just going to tow the loaf behind me. But yeah, back to, like, as far as I know with the glitch, I've still not fully figured it out. In fact, the only thing I've kind of learned is it's possible to do it even on my normal playthrough. Since this game's came out and up to like 20 minutes before the live stream, I'd not had any blue screens or anything like that going on. When it was doing it to me last night, I had a load of mods turned on, and that was basically when it started doing it. So after I kind of decided to just not attempt more live streams, I was testing it out for, I don't know, about another 7 hours after the live stream kind of was supposed to start. Just kept getting blue screened all the time. One of the main ways it was pretty consistently doing it to me was if I was on Albany River and I tried loading over to the Heartlands map on Phase 8, I don't think I ever made it to the Heartlands map. It kept crashing. It was doing it quite often as well when I was loading to Crossroads. But yeah, essentially I was able to make it blue screen kind of every 2 to 5 minutes or so. I tried driving around the garage a bit, just sort of messing around. It seemed to get a little bit better. Like if I sat a truck there for a while just in the yard and didn't really touch the buttons or anything, it didn't actually blue screen me when it was sat there. But yeah, as soon as I tried to do things, driving out the garage, sometimes it was blue screening me. So eventually, after about 7 hours, I gave up last night, or yesterday morning, I suppose. And then today as well, I got back on it and I was trying it out, and long story short, it just kept crashing, doing the same thing again. So after, I don't know, another 3 or 4 hours, it's crazy how quick time flies by when you're just waiting for it to blue screen and then you got to load it all back up. I've probably loaded this game up 30, 40 times this last, yeah, almost like 24, 30 hours. In the end, I decided to try the same things on my normal playthrough, which I've got no mods turned on or anything, just to see if that would then do it. And I got onto Albany River, messed around a little bit, tried to load over to the Heartlands map, and I did actually get blue screened on my main playthrough, and at that point I had 0 mods turned on or anything. I also tried on my last save, like of my 4 save slots, I've got one that's pretty much a fresh start, and I had a couple of mods on there. I tried that one, it was crashing. The only things I can think that I've done recently, I deleted Hope County. Well, I'm not blaming that as a mod, but obviously that was one of my 4 save slot playthroughs, and I deleted that kind of like half an hour before the stream started because I was freeing up room to get a few other mods. And yeah, I don't know, like, well, again, to be fair, I mean, I've unsubscribed to the mod and all the rest of it, and even today I was able to get yeah, the game to crash not only on my mod playthrough but my normal one. So after I crashed it on my normal one, I just kind of thought, well, I'm gonna stop probing around too much at the minute because I don't want to push my luck and get it to where it's like corrupts the save file or anything like that. And then ever since then, I've been on this Albany map for hours. I nipped around and collected a few more missions, and then I did the Broken Bridge mission, and now I'm doing this mission. And it's not blue screened on me once, touch wood. So, yeah, I'm still not 100% sure exactly what's doing it yet. Mods seem to make it a lot more likely to do it, a lot more consistently. But there was a few times I was able to load up some mods and just sit on the map. And after a while, I didn't seem to really get it to crash when I was just driving around the map. It was more when I tried to move over to Phase 8 or whatever. But bear in mind, you're going to have to move over to Phase 8 probably when you start this game to do a truck up, because you haven't got the garage unlocked yet on this. So yeah, I don't know, but either way, apologies for anyone who did turn up for the live stream and it kind of messed you about a bit. Yeah, that's kind of, like I said, worst case scenario. This tower, by the way, I had to put it in slow motion. It does the animation, but it makes like a little baby tower there, and then it turns it back into a big one. That's what she said. Yeah, instead of like doing an animation and the actual lid lifting up, it just kind of shrinks it to half size, pops it on, and then, yeah, makes it appear again. So I just thought I'd show you that. So anyway, yeah, when I got here, like I say, I thought I was going to get some water out of it, and the mission also says when you start it, help us fix the tower, and then it said something about, and we'll give you an additional bonus. So that was the other main reason why I wanted to start this mission, because I was interested in this additional bonus. Well, it was lies. It was all lies. It's not giving me anything. I was panning the camera around, there's nothing there. I looked around quickly kind of on the map and the menu, it's just fully ripped me off. The mission lied, and not only that, but then you see this like water square thing appears. Drive into it, click it, it says 0/3500. So I'm guessing that this thing hasn't even got water in it. it's like a water storage thing where I could bring water and fill this up, but at that point, I mean, I'm being a little bit pedantic now, but yeah, it was like, why the hell would I bring water here when I can just take it to the mission that needs a shitload of water? So yeah, got double ripped. I was expecting an additional bonus and a water boom full of water, and yeah, I got ripped off on both of them. So all in all, the last 24-30 hours have been an absolute disaster. Nothing's been going right. But yeah, at least that mission's in the bag. At least now I know it's lying to me. So the other 3 water boom missions I probably don't necessarily need to get round to. I might test the fixing a water tower that's in the contracts to see if that is a tower, not a boom. But when you read both of them, it says in the rewards it gets a water station and it doesn't differentiate. So anyway, I found a little podium thing that I decided to park my loaf on, so that cheered me up a bit. That solved that issue. See, again, switching to daytime, it gets even darker. But then I switched over to my maple loaf that's sat on the roof at the garage, and you see, now the weather is a lot more sunny again. So another reason to get yourself a loaf. You can literally alter the weather. It's like a harp loaf. But anyway, yeah, that's about it for today though. I hope you've enjoyed, I hope that helps. Thanks for watching, thanks to my Patreon members. Get yourself a loaf, because he's proved himself again, he is a goddamn professional. And I'll be back soon.